All right, 20 minutes after 3 o'clock on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Jalen is now at Master Control. Who else is going to stop by? Well, Michael Sauls is, at least on the phone. Shelly Smith will as well. And, again, some good stuff that we'll get to throughout the afternoon from our buddy Will Helms, who is really doing a fine job with the analytical breakdown at Gamecock Central. Some really, really good stuff on Lenoris in there that we'll get to throughout the day for you. And again, the big news, Brian Snitker will not return as manager of the Atlanta Braves. And a little later on, we'll get into, look, I don't know who puts these lists together. A couple of names are rather obvious in terms of potential next managers for the Braves. Beyond that, might Terry McGuirk, the longtime chairman of the Braves, and Alex Anthopoulos, who runs baseball, might they decide now is the time to go outside the box?
Real quick, I know we'll get to start bench drop. I've always thought about it like this. Just go get the best bleeping person for the job. If it's someone that's in the family and in-house, great. If you think the best person for the job is out-of-house, then hire them. Don't just hire someone because they're in-house.
Yeah, I don't think.
What I mean?
Yeah, and I can't tell you that they will or won't do that. Look, I don't know who's the best manager in baseball today. Dave Roberts, probably.
Yeah, Dave Roberts.
And you're not getting Dave Roberts.
Or the dude in Tampa is really good with nothing.
And that
Kevin Cash in Tampa.
That could be an interesting one.
I guess what I'm saying is this: Snit happened organically.
Yeah.
He was the interim manager, and he was really good. And then they gave him a one-year deal because they thought they were so locked in that this was going to be it. And it organically happened. Right? So, again, don't force what's not there. But if it is the natural fit, let's say Walt Weiss is the natural fit. You interview 8 people, and you come down, it's Walt Weiss. Then hire Walt Weiss.
Yeah.
But if you interview a bunch of people, and let's say it's Skip Schumacher, for the love of God, his name's out there.
It is out there, actually.
Then you say,
which surprised me a little bit.
Then you say, okay, then we hire him. Just sometimes, and this is not just baseball, but in all sports, sometimes because you have this rich tradition, right? And you care about family, that you go hire in the family. Sometimes the family's not the right move. And I'll give you one rough top of my head: Matt Doherty at North Carolina.
Right.
You just went family.
Right.
And so I'm just saying. The Braves are very smart, and 97.5% sure they'll make the right hire because they do so many good things. But I just hope that the idea is let's just get the best guy for the job because we got a hell of a roster for next year.
They do, and again, they should be. And as long as you can stay healthy, you'll be all right. But we'll get into some of those names in just a little bit. Start bench drop today. All right, it's October. I didn't come up with the term. But a lot of people use it. We've used it around here. The Septisman.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, there could be others on the list. I only get 3 for start, bench, drop.
Uh-huh.
All right. So I poured over some numbers, and I had one other one I was good. I was torn. I'll just tell you, I did not include John Mateer on my list.
You did not because he's hurt?
Because he's hurt. He missed, I guess he didn't technically miss a game because they didn't play last weekend. But I did not put John Mateer on.
He's out multiple games.
So I really thought about that. But here they are in alphabetical order. Start, bench, drop.
Okay.
These candidates for the Septisman.
Oh, let's do it.
Ahmad Hardy. All right, there's one.
Missouri.
Fernando Mendoza, Indiana quarterback. And Dante Moore, Oregon quarterback.
Very nice.
All right. So Ahmad Hardy.
Excellent.
Fernando Mendoza, or Dante Moore. Now, will one of those guys win the Heisman Trophy? Maybe.
Could be.
I think if Mateer misses a couple of weeks, that's going to hurt his opportunity.
I can't believe you didn't put DJ Lagway on there from Florida. Do you know how tough it is to throw 5 interceptions? That's not easy,
and only lose by 10.
I know.
There's a lot of people that think Florida's going to win this weekend.
No. I'll ask you really quick. Did you pick Florida or Miami in the Gamecock Central thing?
Well, Florida plays Texas.
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking Miami, Florida State. I'm sorry. Did you pick Florida? I think Texas wins. I just don't think Florida.
No, I picked Texas, but I
picked Texas.
But the spread's only like 6.5.
Well, I'll take Texas to cover the 6.5.
I will tell you a game that I am going to pick to cover, and maybe by a lot more if I had it, but I don't. I think Alabama's going to kick the you-know-what out of Vanderbilt.
I picked Bama. I picked Bama. What's the spread again? It's 10,
the
11,
spread
12?
is 10.5 this morning. I just and I could be dead wrong, and I'm not trying to knock Vandy. I just think Alabama is gonna. I mean, I don't. Well,
games in Tuscaloosa. Bama's playing well, coming off the big win over Georgia, and don't they have something to get even with from last year? Didn't Vandy come in here with that big get even with South Carolina?
Yeah, how Alabama handles it, I'm not sure.
They're not going to be as loud as Vandy, obviously, but do you think that they're sitting around right now thinking about getting a little even?
I would be.
Getting evens?
I would be.
If you're Kalen DeBoer, aren't you using that as motivation this week?
I would be.
And
whoever the team leaders are, that's who I don't think
locker room.
They don't have a Diego Pavia like kind of rah guy perhaps on that ball club, but this to me this is a team thing. If you don't need, I wouldn't want my coach in this situation.
Well, you hope your locker room
reminding me,
right.
Hey boys, you know what they did to us last year, don't you?
If you got to remind everybody,
somebody probably should have gotten a tattoo of it.
The score,
and then told the tattoo place, like, hey, I want you to leave, like, put the score on there, but I want you to make sure that we can easily change it when I come back
when we whip them next year.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
Or just have like a permanent tattoo of the two logos, and then just keep getting like henna of last year's score. Until you beat them this year, and then you get it, and you make it permanent for good. Anyway, I think Alabama's going to roll them.
The thing about that,
no pun intended, sorry,
is this is kind of that game where, like, that changed your whole season last year. If you're Bama, you weren't the same team after that.
It certainly it changed.
You just weren't the same.
No, because you had just beaten Georgia, and you weren't supposed to beat Georgia, and you didn't get lucky to beat Georgia, but. Georgia probably should have held on and beat you. Yeah, but you know what? Georgia probably – listen, if you ask me right now, ask me right now, Terry, who do you think is better, Alabama or Georgia?
Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Quick question for you.
Okay.
Got a minute?
Yes.
You like funnel cakes? No.
I do, actually.
Upstairs, we got a bunch of them. Hey, who do you think's better, Alabama or Georgia?
Georgia. Not by a lot, but I do think they're better. But you know what, Terry?
What, Jay?
Georgia lost to Alabama last year and this year. So, anyway,
and by the way, Georgia was favored in both of them.
It changed a lot of perception last year. But, look, Alabama went to Nashville as a 22-point favorite.
They didn't take it seriously.
And Alabama can't lose to Vanderbilt. They had not lost to Vanderbilt since Reagan's first term.
And by the way, it's in your house this time.
Yeah. So, I think on Central, because that was my – today, just to let you all know, I don't know if he's put it out yet, right?
Jack hasn't put it out yet, no.
But I'll just tell her I don't care. And Jack, if you get mad at me, I'm sorry. I'll buy you a funnel cake.
We got free ones.
Well, I'll still buy him one at the fair. So anyway, I chose the Bama Vandy game for my write-up because we typically do a write-up on the Gamecocks, but Jack just asked us to pick a game and write it up and then make our standard picks. So I wrote up the Bama Vandy game, and I basically said if I was a gambler, which I'm not, but if I were,
would you put the score?
38-17.
If it ended up like that, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I think Bama. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but maybe I'll be dead wrong. I've been wrong before in these things, believe it or not. Because if I were never wrong about it, I would be a gambler, and I wouldn't be here.
You wouldn't be here, right? You're in Ireland.
But I think Bama is highly motivated. And you know what, Terry? They also they're back in a position of needing some style points.
Yep. You know, really quick, and we'll go. Think about this. We talked about this with Vandy and Alabama last year. We talked about this with Florida State and Alabama this year. Kalen DeBoer's teams, for some reason, have these games where they just figure they're going to show up and put their jock on the field and beat somebody.
Well, he needs to fix that. So anyway,
he does.
Start bench drop, Ahmad Hardy, Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore. Have fun with that one. Michael Saul's on the other side, talking more Gamecocks in the off week. It's the Postgame Show. 26 minutes in front of 4 o'clock on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Jalen at Master Control. It's the Postgame Show. Talking a little Gamecocks off week now. Welcome back onto the program. Our buddy Michael Saul's on the beat for the State Paper. Always good to have you, sir. I know there's no press availability this week other than I guess Shane was part of the teleconference today. But after Saturday night, Michael, when at least we know Carolina began to turn a corner from some of the self-inflicted stuff, how much farther do they think they have to go, and how much of what they're doing right now must remain about them, not who they play?
You know, I keep kind of asking myself that same question, you know, over these couple of days as we're in this bye week. And I think in terms of what they need to keep doing, the defense, you know, I feel like the defensive scoring is probably not something that you can sustain over the rest of the season. But if your defense can continue to kind of disrupt other offenses like that and kind of keep other offenses off the field, that's going to be huge for the rest of the way. I think Lenoris himself has played pretty well this season. I know he hasn't really lived up to all the Heisman buzz that he had coming in, but he still has done well from a stat perspective compared to his first 5 games from last year. So I think there is good. I think the negatives probably stick out like a sore thumb and kind of more than the positives do. But I think if they can continue, like you kind of said, to do the good things that they did against Kentucky, you know, maybe they'll have a positive swing here. Granted, it's going to get really tough in these next 5 games.
Hey, Michael, as we're not quite to the halfway point, but a game away from it, and they're sitting in the bye week, give me one player who you're surprised that hasn't popped or has been more of a contributor than you thought they would be.
I think I'm kind of surprised that Mazeo Bennett hasn't really had that big of an impact on the offense. Granted, maybe that's just because, you know, Trey Jacobs kind of popped up as the number 1 wide receiver out of nowhere, as well as the fact that you've got 2 really good freshman wide receiver in Donovan Murph and Brian Rowe, who are playing well. But I kind of expected the wide receiver core to kind of be Nick Harbor 1, Mazeo 2. But granted, that really hasn't that's just not how things have shaken out so far.
Talking to Michael Sauls of the State Paper. By the way, you mentioned defensive touchdowns. Feel free to use the term that I've labeled these with, supplemental touchdowns. So, again, whether they're defensive or special teams, but there's a lot of them. So
if he uses that in the paper, you're not going to charge him anything?
Well, first one's free.
First one's free?
Yeah.
First one's free, yeah.
And then you have to, Michael, either compensate Jay monetarily or make sure you put Jay Phillips in that sentence in the newspaper.
Of course.
Yeah, just
I'll get a tab running.
We'll see what we can do with that. You just kind of hit on it there with the wide receivers, so I did want to go there with you. So let's expound further on that in terms of what's happening this week. We're basically at the halfway point. The LSU game will mark that in terms of the regular season games anyway, Michael, as you know. How much of a work in progress do they feel this wide receiver group still is relative to just trying to get those first 5 or 6 guys going? What is, in your opinion, and what you've learned, what does this week feel like when it comes to that wide receiver depth chart?
I think you just kind of want to keep bringing those 2 freshmen along so they can continue to – I mean, I don't have the stats directly in front of me, but I'm just from looking at them and, you know, last week and then a little bit this week, I know that the 2 freshmen and Murph and Rowe have continued to play more and more. So I guess this bye week for them is probably all about, hey, you know, we're giving you more and more responsibility. You guys are probably going to get the ball coming to you a lot more than in your first 2 games of the year. So I feel like it's bringing those 2 freshmen along, but also making sure that, you know, when they're not on the field, a guy like Mazeo, who I don't know if you can call it a sophomore slump just because he hasn't been targeted a whole lot and hasn't really played a whole lot, you know, in compared to what he played last year and compared to the rest of the wide receivers. But I feel like it's just kind of bringing those 2 freshmen along so that if you have a game where Nick Harbor is locked up or if you have a game where Trey Jacobs is locked up, you have other options for Lenoris to go to, and he doesn't have to do everything with his legs.
All right, Michael, again, 5 games in. What do we make of this offensive line at this point, my man?
You know, I don't know how to fully judge the offensive line because they've had the shakeups with injury and everything. I think generally you can probably say it's been an underwhelming performance so far. I mean, obviously the run game sticks out as something that has just not been great. But I think part of why the run game, hasn't been great is half because the offensive line has struggled and kind of has dealt with constant shakeups with injuries and everything. But also, you don't really have that dominant running back like you did last year. So I think it's safe to say the offensive line performance has been underwhelming. I'll be interested to see how things look after the bye week when they do get guys back healthy and what, the starting five up front kind of looks like post-injury and post-bye.
Shane was asking post-game about Matthew Fuller and maybe if he was emerging as the number one. Shane wasn't ready to go there. Is there a number one running back right now? Is it 1A, 1B, 1C? Is it 1, 2, 3? Am I playing semantics with all of that? There again, like with the receiving core, what does this week, in your estimation, look like in terms of trying to figure out who can be the most productive behind LaNorris?
It's interesting. From the jump during preseason, they kind of said, this is going to be a by-committee position group until someone established themselves as the guy moving forward. And through 5 weeks, they don't really have that. I mean, Rasul Faison has, been good when he's able to find gaps. Attaway's been okay when he's been able to find gaps. I mean, beyond that, it hasn't really looked great, and they don't really – it doesn't feel like they have the guy. They might technically have a dude that they're going into each week going, hey, we're going to give this dude the bulk of the carries, but it still doesn't really feel like they have a dominant, back. I don't know if Matthew Fuller is kind of creeping up a little bit. I feel like because he did play a lot in that the second half of last week, maybe that's a sign that is the case, but also a lot of his carries came just in the fourth quarter. So I know Shane said he's not ready to say, hey, Matthew Fuller's the starting running back, but I don't even think he is. Maybe he's creeping into RB2 range.
Can I give you guys a quick Matthew Fuller stat? I saw this today.
Go ahead.
Matthew Fuller this year has run for 71 yards, 69 after contact. Dude, in 26 carries, has 2 yards before contact. What does that tell you about the run game? Wow. Hey, Michael, quick question. We've got a lot of newcomers on the first two levels of the defense. Who has shined to you the most where you went, that guy, either it was good, he got moved up from number 2 to number 1, or he came in, he's really done some damage. Who has stuck out to you the most?
I think I'm going to butcher his last name, J.O., the linebacker. Okoronkwo.
You got it. Okoronkwo. There you go.
Jake can nail this thing.
I am always terrified that I'm going to mess up his last name because I don't want to be disrespectful. I think he's done a really good job at linebacker. Him, and I know Fred Johnson isn't technically a newcomer, but as a younger guy in his kind of first full year starting, I think those two have done a really good job in the linebacker core and kind of the middle of the field. And I think if they continue to play well, then that defense will be all right.
Last question for you. What does a young beat writer do when he doesn't have a game to cover on an off week?
I wish I had plans to tell you about, Jay. I will probably – there are a couple of good movies in theaters. Maybe I'll go see a movie, or other than that, I'll probably just be on my couch watching football like everybody else.
You see Michael just sit on his couch. Everything's turned off. What do I do? Yeah. I'm lost.
Sometimes you just don't even want to watch football either,
I mean, sometimes you do. Like when you work in radio, sometimes you drive away from the station, you turn the radio off because I don't want to hear radio.
No, I'll put on some Zeppelin or something.
Exactly.
Michael, appreciate you as always, bud. Enjoy the weekend, regardless of what your plans
You know what you do? You practice saying J.O.'s last name all week.
There you go. Or write a story on Supplemental Touchdown.
And use Jay's name.
There you go. He's Michael Sauls, MC Sauls, to follow along on Twitter, thestate.com, gogamecocks.com to catch his work on the web. Good stuff, sir. Appreciate you. All right, we'll open the vault and update you on what our start bench drop is as the postgame show rolls on. Welcome back in. Postgame show rolling on here on a Wednesday. Thanks again to Michael Sauls for hanging out with us for a few minutes. Jay, Terry, Jalen, hanging out with you now. Start bench drop today. The Septisman. We're into October. So who won the Septisman? I got 3. Now, you could, again, if you want to put somebody else on the list, John Mateer or somebody, that's fine. I came close to putting. I probably should have put Mateer, but I didn't know who to take off. And I didn't. Here's the thing. I felt like we needed to include Ahmad Hardy because he's having such a good year.
And look at Missouri. People pick Missouri like 12th in the SEC.
And I felt like he was doing. Mendoza. Look, God bless you, Indiana. You played 3 high school teams, and you whooped Illinois, and you got by Iowa. Mm-hmm. Mendoza didn't look good against.
No, he struggled in that game.
Dante Moore looked fantastic the other night on the road. Oregon has, just curb stomped a few of their opponents. I like what Oregon's doing. Mm-hmm. But if you want to put somebody else on there, but otherwise, these are the 3 I have. So in alphabetical order, Ahmad Hardy, Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore. It's the Septisman start bench drop.
Mm-hmm. But the thing about Moore, look, we enjoy joking about Big Game James in Happy Valley, and he's 4 in 100 billion against top 10 teams, and he can't beat a top 5 team. But that atmosphere at night in a whiteout, and it's like 110,000 well-lubricated people going crazy. I've been there. That's a crazy environment at night. And for a guy in his, 5th career start? No, he had a couple starts at UCLA. So a guy who hasn't had a season's worth of starts.
Hadn't done that.
Hadn't faced that.
Hadn't done that.
And he played like he was a 9-year veteran.
Yeah, it was great.
He outplayed Aller.
Yeah.
Easy.
Poor Drew Aller, man. He's taking way, again, I will say this, and then I know you got to get to the vault. James Franklin, Penn State coaching staff, Penn State recruiters, go get a difference-making wide receiver.
Yeah.
It's your missing piece. You've got everything else through the years. You never have that guy. And you might not need him. Like I said, Terry, you'll throw to him a lot. But 5 or 6 times a year, he's going to make a difference.
And can I throw you one more to go with yours? Because I agree with yours 100%. Open up your bleeping playbook and get aggressive.
Yeah, and again, James Franklin,
goes to that point.
He coaches not to lose.
I mean,
and he tells his offensive coordinators, hey.
And you got one of the most creative offensive minds that you stole from Kansas. Yeah. Let the guy cook.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
James, he's afraid of losing, and then you lose.
Yeah, that's what happens. The vault is good today. Jalen, get ready. The vault is good. On this day in 2004, on the computer, my friend, hit it.
With George Sisler. And a ground ball back up the middle, and there it is. He's a new all-time hit king in Major League history, number 258. My, oh my.
You can bring it down. Bring her on down. Ichiro Suzuki on this day in 2004 breaks a record a lot of people thought would never be broken. George Sisler's 257 hits. Sisler did it in 1920. Dave was there and told me it was a fantastic day at the ballpark in 1920 when George Sisler got the hit. 84-year-old record.
For a second, I'm sorry. For a second, I really thought you were going to tell me Dave was at the game with Ichiro. I was like, well, that's good.
Dude, I was in Seattle Ichiro's rookie year when he won Rookie of the Year, and also MVP.
I have an Ichiro rookie card.
Unreal. That thing's got to be worth a little something.
I don't know.
I'm going to look that up here today.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not. I guess it's not mint.
It's not. It's just
close.
Is it close?
What's below mint? You card collectors. What's right below mint? I don't know what's
below mint. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know off the top of my head.
It's like really good.
That's what it's called. Really good. Mint. Really good. So yeah, this was the day when. But here's the thing about Sisler's record. He did it in 154 games, bro.
Yeah.
Ichiro did in 160, but it doesn't take away from the record. Sisler did it in 154 games. Ichiro was phenomenal.
Listen, I don't know because I might say Ichiro might be my favorite non-Brave ever.
Oh, Ichiro's great.
And we hardly ever got to see him. But he might be my favorite non-Brave ever because he was just so smooth, so good, and so good at what he did.
Oh, he's
not just hitting. I mean, he was such an amazing outfielder.
Great defender.
And he could steal bases. He was an amazing.
You know what they said about him too? is if you went and watched him in batting practice, he hit home run after home run after home run in batting practice. They tried to get him in the home run derby, he wouldn't do it.
No, he didn't want to.
He was scared he was going to mess up his swing.
I don't blame him.
But they said if you went to, and he would get in batting practice, once he went through his process of what he had to do, he'd start hitting bombs. Bomb after bomb after bomb.
I just wish, and I'm so serious, I wish he had been able to play his whole adult career in the United States.
Well, you think about it, he had 3,000 hits in America. What do you have, 2,000 hits?
Almost
something like that. Just insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
And he could have done that here.
No, he was a phenomenal hitter.
Yeah. So that's good stuff, man. Nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right. Start, bench, drop. Ahmad Hardy, Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore. We'll have some more fun with that for you throughout the afternoon. And again, baseball-wise, if you haven't heard, Braves with a big announcement this morning. We'll get into more of that for you coming up in just a bit.
You're a rich man. I'll get to this next.
Oh, good.
You got that Ichiro rookie card. This might be your last day.
Sweet. I knew it was coming. 4 o'clock on a Wednesday. Welcome back in. Hour number 2 of the Postgame Show coming at you from the Herndon Chevy Studios, downtown Columbia, South Carolina, alongside Terry Ford, who's right there. I'm Jay Phillips. Jalen Tartt's right over there.
Where's that?
Right there. He's that way. You're that way. Jalen is to my north. You are to my west. And away we go. How you doing? Well, I think you can turn the microphone on.
I should turn my microphone on.
I was about to say, I was like, is he talking?
That's how this works. Most of the time. As far as you know.
As far as I know.
That's right. And good news, the air conditioner is working properly. Today, it was even warmer when we got into the studio.
Nice and toasty, man. Get you warm.
Today's going to be the last day of that.
You think?
Yeah. I do think. I do. I'm not coming in here again to an 81 degrees.
Well, you know what? You got to quit wearing these long sleeves.
Well, it's very thin and very old, and I'm wearing shorts today on purpose. And yesterday.
Are you wearing the Brave gear in honor of Snit today?
Yep.
I'm wearing my shirt in honor of Snit.
That's nice. I don't know what that is, though, but that looks nice. But yes,
Snit gave me the shirt. Did I ever tell you the story about when Snit gave me the shirt?
Nice. The shirt off his back.
Yeah, he did. He was that good of a guy.
That's nice. Yes, I did indeed choose this Atlanta Braves long sleeve T-shirt in honor of the Braves and Brian.
Not that it matters in the big picture.
Yeah.
Do you think this was more of Snit was truly just done, and he said, I reflected at the end of the season, and I realized that this was it? Because it's a grind to be a manager. Or do you think the Braves kind of looked at it and said, we love you, but we think it's time just to change the voice up? Which way? Or do you think it's? I
think it's a blend. I don't know where the percentages fall, but I do think it's a blend because not only has Brian Snitker been the Braves manager, the Atlanta Braves manager for nearly a decade. Remember, Terry, this is what he did.
He was 40 years.
Yeah, he's in his 44th season or something. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I'll have to. I can't remember the exact number, but it's his 40-something season with the Braves. I mean, he was drafted by the Braves as like a 19-year-old. And he played a few years in the minors. Hank Aaron is the one who said, hey, I like what you have, but you're not going to be a good player. But we really like you. Because, again, I don't know if enough of you know this. Hank was in charge of the Braves minor league system for years. And he really believed that Brian Snitker was perfect, again, for that Braves way in the minor leagues. And so Snit managed in the minors. So many Braves were directly influenced by Brian Snitker in their youth. But it was Hank Aaron who convinced him, hey, I know you're not going to make it to the bigs, man, but you can help a lot of other guys make it to the bigs.
I thought he had a cool line today where he was like, I never thought I'd manage a day in the majors in my life, much less almost 10 years. This has been like phenomenal. I never expected any of this.
And he won the World Series. He won the World Series.
You know what I love about him? I love guys like him, and they're popping up. You got Thompson in Philadelphia. You got these managers who no one knows who the hell they are, right? They toil for years in the minors, riding buses and doing all this other ridiculous stuff. And then, it's like Bull Durham every day without, hot women and all this other stuff. And then and all of a sudden you work your way up and you're a base coach or you're whatever. Then you fall into being the interim manager. And then all of a sudden, guess what? You're good at being the manager. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're the manager and you start winning and things take off for you.
I mean, I think, and he's far from alone, but to your point, he knows quite literally how to manage people. Baseball's such a different animal, because it's just, everything can be a grind. But there are just times, even in the major leagues, when you make a lot of money, where it's just, oh my God, I gotta go do this again.
It's 162 games.
Yeah, I can only imagine, right? I mean, it's hot. You're tired. You've traveled from Chicago to L.A. and back home, and then up to New York or whatever, and you haven't seen your wife and kids, and
6 days a week you play.
And again, look, they're well compensated.
Oh yeah, I'm
not here crying for them, but it doesn't make it any less of a grind. Now imagine toiling, to your word, in the minors, where all those dudes, the bonus babies are getting theirs, but most of those dudes.
Not making jack.
Am I going to sell real estate? Am I going to be a substitute teacher? Am I going to be a bank teller? What can I do? Because I can't start a career yet.
Nope.
Now
I'm trying to get to the show.
Yeah, so I hope I can make it. And Brian, I think, just has understood how to manage that. But to your original question here a few minutes ago, it's certainly a blend. Because would he like to come? I mean, Probably because you hate to see things end with injuries being such a predominant part of what happened. It's not exclusively injuries.
Right. And you quote unquote underachieve and you don't make the postseason.
But that's why I came back last week when you mentioned, and I probably did. I don't say I took it personally, but as a Braves fan, to see that baseball professionals that write for a living and cover the sport for a living would give the Braves an F, knowing full well, again, for more than 2 months, the entire original starting rotation was on the IR. And not only that, but again, Ronald missed a couple of months. Ozzie has not really fully recovered from last year's surgery, and now, God bless him, has to have another surgery. Austin Riley, just for whatever reason, didn't start well, and that sometimes happens with ball players. Sure. And then he got hurt. And again, when Matt Olson is not protected in the lineup, as we said, he swings at everything. He's like a kid with a piñata. I'll eventually hit something, get some candy. Sean Murphy was hurt, and who knew about Drake Baldwin? The bullpen, and that's one thing too. The bullpen, I don't know what the hell happened to the bullpen.
No,
and that really was an injury as much as you didn't replenish, and that's not as much on Snit as that's on Alex. To get things done. Alex Anthopoulos, the GM.
Bullpens are so kooky anyway. One year you had the best bullpen in baseball, bring everybody back to next year and have the worst. And I think what Snit did, and to your point, I say this all the time about baseball managing. It's not about managing the game. You truly have the effect on a handful of games with managerial decisions in 162. To be a really good manager is what you do in between games. How you deal with the clubhouse, how you deal with players. You're on the road pretty much constantly from spring training until the end of September or October if you're in the postseason. You're with the same people. And by the way, a lot of these people have really big egos.
Yeah. And a lot of these guys don't, remember, they don't like, sometimes you don't have to like these people.
And a lot of them don't like each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I mean, like the San Francisco Giants were winning, and their two best players hated each other, and most of the players in the clubhouse hated the two
those
players.
Two guys. Yeah, Kent and Bonds were villains.
So think about what like a Dusty Baker or the managers of those teams did between games to keep those guys from killing each other for 6 months. So I just really think that's the goal of the manager.
Yeah.
And like you brought up, Snit, he was in the minors as a manager for so long. He managed a lot of these guys who are in the majors. They knew him. He knew them. He understood the personality. He got the managing between games.
Right.
And that's really the goal of this.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. There's a few times, let's double steal here, or let's hit and run. Yeah, there's those things. But by and large, hey, that ball the guy's throwing, I need you to hit it.
Right.
Hey, in the field, the ball that the guy just hit, I need you to catch it.
Yeah.
And it's not.
And if my guys are better than your guys, I'm going to win more times than I'm going to lose.
Yeah, and that's why Tommy Lasorda used to say, look, you're going to win a third of your games, you're going to lose 30 of your games. It's the middle third. Mm-hmm. What do you do with them? You know, and if I'm better than you, I'm going to win most of them. So it's all those kind of things. Again, where the blend is, I'm not sure. But again, Snit's also getting ready to be 70, and so I think from his own perspective, and he's mentioned this, he hasn't really had a chance to be a full-time granddad. Mm-hmm. And you know what now? And I mean this in the nicest way. I'm serious about this. Now he's made some money. He can go spoil those grandkids. Like
a few bucks.
You ain't just taking them to Disney World. Like you're getting that suite up at the top of the Polynesian, man, and you're going to get the little behind-the-scenes tour, and or whatever.
You're not going to stand in that long line at Space Mountain.
No, you're getting you got fast passes for everything, or whatever they call it now, Lightning Lane or something, man. Yeah, you're in, bro. I mean, and you're going to eat fun. We're going to eat. You're going to meet Mickey every morning for breakfast. It's great.
Yeah,
just trust me that. It ain't cheap.
Yeah. Well, you're the governor of Disney.
I know. Well, there's no way. Trust me. There is no way in hell that, and any of you that have done this know this. When you take your kids to one of those princess buffets or Mickey buffets or whatever, it's like $35 for a kid. Your kid eats like 35 cents worth of food.
My daughter went with her grandparents, and I'll never forget talking to her grandma going, you know how much money that thing was?
Dude, but you know what happens? Mickey comes to your table and stays for like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, man. It's gold.
It's awesome.
It's gold.
And your kids like they're float out of the play. Anyway, so Snit can go do that kind of stuff now, and I hope he does. I hope he will. And we'll transition here into who the Braves might get. Look, I think there's 2, maybe 3 what people are saying kind of really obvious candidates because they are all former Braves, and two of them, have managed at the major league level. But David Ross, who caught for the Braves for 4 or 5 seasons, in addition to other ball clubs, and was a longtime Cub, won the World Series with the Cubs, won the World Series with the Sox. Walt Weiss, again, fantastic player, has been a manager with the Rockies, but has been on the Braves staff since he left Colorado. He's been there. He's been with the Braves since then.
I was going to say, it's been
nearly 10 years.
Yeah, he's been with the Braves a long time.
And Mark DeRosa, who was, again, a longtime Brave and
looks dreamy on TV, and his teeth are white.
I see a lot of people like him. So I feel like, for obvious reasons, I can't say they are the leaders because, Alex Anthopoulos hasn't come out and said anything. And I basically believe him when he says, I have not – he said it today. They had a press conference today. He said, I haven't had one conversation with any potential new manager because we didn't know until yesterday.
Right.
And then today, he and Terry McGuirk and Snit had their presser at the ballpark.
Yeah. Look, it feels like if you and I are just sitting here talking sports like we're hanging out in the man cave, I feel like Weiss is – I'm not going to be stunned if it's not Weiss, but I believe if we're kind of ranking it, I think Weiss would be the front runner. He's been a manager. He learned how an organization doesn't run in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
And he's learned how one runs in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You've had a chance to sit for almost 10 years now and process what you have done different in Colorado. You see how Snit does it. You see how the Braves do what they do. You played here. You played there in the glory days as well. I feel like Weiss is the guy, and then you and I had talked about something. I think I would do this. I would bring back Ron Washington to be the bench coach.
You can't. If Wash wants to come back, get him.
I just really believe you put a guy like that with that wealth and depth of knowledge, who players love, who knows how to develop players and work on things, and has been a very successful manager on the major league level. Put him in there to be Weiss's right-hand man. I think that could be a winning combination myself. That's just me.
100%. And I know D. Ross wants to get back in.
You know what? To be fair, he didn't do a bad job in Chicago. You and I were looking at that. He kind of started to get them baby steps toward being good again, and then all of a sudden the Cubs said, "Oh, Craig Counsell's available." No offense, Dave.
And I get it.
And I do too. Counsell's one of the 7 best managers in baseball, if not one of the 5 best managers.
What, $8-9 million a year? Good for him. But I think Ross again was a good one. And I'm look, he had been with the Cubs, he had been with the Sox, he'd been with the Braves, and all at really good points in those franchises' histories. And again, with 2 of them, not with Atlanta, but obviously in Boston and Chicago, he was on World Series teams, so he knows that part of it. I do think a lot of catchers make good managers just because of what catching is in the sport.
And you deal with the whole roster.
Yeah.
Pitchers, everyday players, you deal with everybody.
Yeah.
And catchers do, by percentage, I think, make the best managers.
So, I wouldn't be surprised with either of those.
Nope.
DeRosa, again, potentially. And again, maybe the Braves go outside the box. I'm like you said, I'm not here to say it must be someone who knows the Braves way. It doesn't, it doesn't have to be. Yeah. But the Braves have shown us historically that is not just a preference. It's a heavy preference.
Yes. And so far, guess what? For the most part, it's worked out pretty good.
Yeah, it's done all right.
It's been okay, right?
It's done all right. Yeah. So we'll see. But, look, Snit's done a great job, man. And like I say, I don't like how it ended. He doesn't like – nobody likes how it ended. But I do think that he received too much fan criticism this season. And like, what would you do differently? Every night, when you don't have your A players.
You always have a small percentage of the loudest who complain or scream or moan about all this stuff.
Right.
And you hear them, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sane people who understand what happened this year.
Yeah. So come back on the other side. Want to stay with this sort of in terms of coaching changes, but Terry offers up an interesting question about lines that can be crossed. And we'll get into that when the postgame show returns. 19 minutes after 4 o'clock here on a Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay, Terry, Jalen with you. Shelley Smith coming up in a bit. Headlines of the day. And again, in the Gamecock Notebook coming up next hour, some good stuff from our buddy Will Helms that takes you even more in depth. So I want to give Will his props for the work that he does over there at Central. But this isn't about Brian Snicker, but Terry and I were talking today ahead of the show, as we do every day, and I suppose it segues nicely into, as there is a change at the top. But you brought up an interesting question.
We watched this, I'm going to try to be nice, this mess playing out in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and who's back? Freddy Krueger. Can't kill him. He's back. In Bobby Petrino. And, there is a faction of folks who have a few dollars in the bank in Fayetteville who would love to see Bobby come back because, again, the last time Arkansas had any type of high-level-ish success was under Petrino. And the only reason Bobby's not there anymore, let's just be honest, he lied to the AD.
Yeah.
If Bobby Petrino tells Jeff Long what's going on, Bobby might not have gotten fired. They might have found a way to keep him. Maybe. You know how this goes.
I
don't guarantee it, but
I think you're right.
They would have tried really hard.
Yes.
So point being is Bobby is back as the interim, and if he does win some games down the stretch, there is a road to having him once again be the head coach at Arkansas.
And Hunter Yurachek, the AD, has admitted as much publicly. He's already said Bobby will be a candidate for the job.
Well, how about at Louisville? He screwed over Louisville, and then with the same AD he screwed over, rehired him again. I don't know if he's got blackmail pictures. I don't know if there's voodoo involved here, but here's a guy, every place he's left badly.
Yeah.
He's either lied, he's done something, he's backstabbed, he's slipped out a side door. Not many people look at him with...
Yeah, again, the Falcons thing, cowardly.
Yeah, taped messages on lockers. That defensive coordinator who was the head coach of the Vikings, Mike Zimmer, if Mike Zimmer ever saw Bobby Petrino out in public, Mike Zimmer might kill him.
Let's get him in the same room, see what happens.
That'd be fun. Why don't we get sit back, get a couple craft beers, and enjoy the show?
There's Bobby.
It's Bobby.
Turns into the Hulk.
All green, shirt rips off. So my point is, there are people in Arkansas that want Bobby Petrino back.
Yeah.
And they don't care about everything else that's going on in this guy's career. They just care that he was a winner the first time around. So I throw it out to you and go, where are we as fans with our moral compass of hiring guys that might not be the best human beings or, morally they filed for bankruptcy multiple times, but they win?
All right.
Because, again, are we like, you know what, I don't care. Just I want to win games. I don't need to hear about the other stuff.
Right.
Just win me games. Or do you go, I want to win really bad, but not that bad? Because I don't want to win that bad.
Well, you and I mentioned a name that I think has at least bumped up to the line as best. I say as best. Art Briles.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I said to you in a very general sense, if you've committed a felony, then I don't think you're going to, it's not even for fans. I think at that point, your athletics, and we're talking college right now.
Right, we're talking college.
More than we are, professional sport. Because, again, I do think, as you mentioned, morals, ethics, these men and women are put in charge of young people. They are young adults.
But still,
it's still a learning and nurturing and academic environment primarily, despite what some cynics may say.
Mm-hmm.
Art Briles right now is someone who remains toxic. And remember, Southern Miss tried to hire him not even as head coach, as OC.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically got it 95% of the way there. And then once it went public, there was an outcry, and it didn't happen. And I'm not going to sit here and sound sanctimonious. You can argue that the things Bobby Petrino did are worse than the things Art Briles did. You can argue it. I'm not here to say, look, here's the thing. I don't know what Art Briles' personal life is with Mrs. Briles.
Mm-hmm.
I do know, at least from a public standpoint, Art Briles was not cheating on his wife with a paid athletics department staffer, getting into a really bad motor vehicle accident and then lying to his athletics director. Mm-hmm. Now, he was trying to cover up a lot of bad things. And at Baylor, as we know, again, I'm just giving fact now, there was a very independent, very outside investigation by a very reputable law firm from, a time zone away that uncovered all these things about what Art was doing and how bad things were. And that's why, and again, in a collegiate environment. And not only that, and this may matter some, Terry, more than others, at what is considered, America's flagship Baptist university. Mm-hmm. Arkansas is a public school, so it's different. How different? That depends on who's running things. So I feel like Art Briles, to your question and my answer, is the closest or the best example, rather, of someone that seemingly is just unhireable in collegiate sports.
Despite being very successful. And that's what I was talking about when you and I were yipping about this.
Because what he does works beautifully.
Well, first of all, half the country's copying his offense. The other half's copying Mike Leach.
And his son is out there doing some pretty good things.
I think also, and look, to what we're discussing, look, I'm not sitting here trying to be the morality police. Right. I'm not. I mean, people have their own morality. People do. Look, I'm far from perfect. I'm not a hypocrite. I get people do things, right? And everybody's moral compass is different. But here's my thing. There's certain jobs in this country, if you have a moral compass, you probably can't do. And when you are supposed to be molding the young minds of athletes between the ages of 18 and 24 right now, and probably 18 and 22 before it's all said and done, and you as a university talk about how you're there to mold young people to be great citizens and all these other things, then the people that are doing it, fair or not, have to have a different set of moral rules than others.
Yeah.
Now, again, that's tough for me to say because also, as a fan, I want my team to win a lot of games, right? And so, if I like Rick Pitino in basketball, if the University of Maryland would hire Rick Pitino, I know Rick Pitino, look, it's out there. You know it's out there, all the stuff. Now, do I say, hey, this guy's going to hang banners at Maryland, woohoo, or am I going to go like this? You hired that guy?
Well, and to his specific point, and again, I mean this only from a factual standpoint of where he is now. He was hired by a very prominent Catholic university.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they know what's up, too.
Mm-hmm. But they want to win games so bad and get back to being the St. John's of the 80s.
And so there again...
And I guess that's where I batted this back with you and I.
It's like, and again, we're not trying to sit here and be sanctimonious, I promise.
Not at all.
But I think you ask a fair question. And I think we came up with it. Art Briles. Now, because again, you're not going to... If you've committed a felony, you're not in the hiring process.
Well, Dave
anymore.
Bliss can never coach again anywhere.
Right. And I realize it's a little different, but you look at Todd Golden right now, and you can say, well, he was clear. He was cleared of a Title IX misdeed. Mm-hmm. He was not necessarily cleared of other things, but because there were no legal challenges brought. But I don't know how disputed some of the facts.
If Todd Golden starts 2-8,
he's probably not there.
Probably not there.
But instead, he goes out and wins a national title, and again, that's not to judge. It's just to observe.
I think you're right. I think because what Art Briles is on the phone with young ladies going, hey. Do you understand we got to win games on Saturday, right?
Well, and admitting, why are these girls hanging out with these guys? And you mean the guys that you recruited and brought to campus, Coach?
Yeah, knowing that there were issues with some of these guys, and then trying to talk people out of going to the administration. That's where you draw the line of, come on, man.
Yeah, like you brought them in, and then when they get in trouble, you're covering up for them, and then you're getting mad at girls that
coming forward saying what happened. And by the way, what happened? Felonies.
Yes.
Let's get back to that.
And a couple of them were convicted.
Yes.
So right. I
think Art Briles is our poster boy.
I think that's.
I don't think that's a bad way to go.
At least for now, that's what that's the evidence would show
like it.
that he's the one you just can't go hire again, and I don't think anybody's gonna. That's interesting. We'll see what happens out in Fayetteville. All right, we'll come back on the other side. Shelley Smith will join us, and we'll continue our start bench drop today as well as the postgame show.
So far, roadways, we have construction to deal with, like always. I-126 and I-26 with Hugie. So take your time if you are rolling around that area. Also, I-20 and 26 at Malfunction Junction has their issues like always. And we always have that problem between Broad River Road and Old Sandy Run Road as well. So again, take your time. Good news is weather much better than the last couple of days, so you haven't had to deal with any kind of wet roadways. And the couple of accidents we do have, I-26 eastbound Lake Murray Boulevard, South Lake Drive at Highway 602 and Two Notch Road near Taylor Street and Forest Drive. Shelley Smith coming up next to talk some women's soccer on the Postgame Show.
All right, welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you here on this Wednesday. Jalen Tart at Master Control. Top 10 matchup at the Graveyard tomorrow night. First one in a couple of seasons for Carolina women's soccer. It's always a pleasure to welcome back one of our favorite people. She is the longtime and incredibly successful head coach, Shelley Smith. And she's calling us during practice.
She's on the field. Is she on the field?
Ahead of a top 10 game. So
on the field, is it? That's impressive. We're gonna,
are the girls going to holler at you later? Like, well, the coach doesn't have to be here. Why are we here? We're not getting you in trouble, are we?
No. I excused myself for a minute. They're doing what they need to do right now.
That's good.
Well, now, Coach, what if they excuse themselves? They got to go do a TikTok.
That doesn't work. No. They need a bathroom break. I'm okay with that.
Not TikToks.
Hey, I'm helping them. I get to brag about the team, so It's
absolutely. Again, top 10 matchup, first one since you guys had Chapel Hill down here a few years back. You're number 10, Arkansas number 7. I am not at all surprised to learn, and Maddie made sure we knew this. 9 clean sheets this year, the most in D1 soccer. Shelley, and you know this, but for the audience, the Gamecocks have scored 20 times this season in their 9 wins. Their opponents have scored 3 times so far this season. We know defense means so much to what you want your program to be about. Is this even better than you might have expected thus far?
Sure, you never know. We kind of go in with the same mentality, and you hope that it works and you score more than your opponent. That's the key to victory, right? And so we've been successful in giving ourselves chances to win games, keeping opponents limited to very few chances. And our defense has been great. It's an effort by the whole team, honestly, not just your, so-called defenders. And they've committed to it, and they've also had a lot of the attacking games and the control. So it's been a really good combination and successful, and we know we have our work cut out for us tomorrow against Arkansas, who is undefeated in the league and leading, but we have a tie and they don't. So we're, it's such a good matchup, and they're always hard to play against. So we're excited for the opportunity tomorrow.
Coach, real quick, just a bigger picture question. With the new world that you are now in collegiate athletics, for you, how much of this, because it's so much harder now to do the old thing, recruit and develop and things of that nature, now you kind of had to change up your philosophy. How much tougher is it now to try to put together any kind of continuity compared to what it was even 5 years ago?
I agree that is a challenge, but that's something I've been lucky enough to have some continuity still throughout these times, and that is what's made us successful. We have players that have developed through the program, and they've been playing behind our 10 seniors that we lost last year that stayed through the program, and 6 of them 5 years. So I haven't felt that effect quite yet, but I do see it happening. So we're lucky enough to have kept some of that continuity, and that's been also a key to success for sure. So we have to try to keep doing that, and it's going to be more of a challenge. But players that come here, you got to try to keep them, but they want to be here. They enjoy it. They're part of a family, and that's made us successful.
One of those players, obviously, that you're developing and is doing some great things, not only for Carolina, but for the United States. Katie Shea Collins leads the nation with 5 game winners already. And, it just provides, I think, such a burst of energy up front for you. Talk about her a little bit here, Shelly, but really what she does to incorporate the rest of the team and how she has to be defended and what that does to open up other things for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, it's something that you get to deal with when you're a star player for sure. She draws a lot of attention. I think last year as a freshman, she had Kat Berry next to her, who had done that over her time and learned to deal with it. Katie's years now, where even last game she got marked the entire time. You don't see that happen much in soccer anymore, but she's literally getting chased around the field. And what happens is does open up for others. Even though she found a way to score off a set piece, she's creating chances and opening up opportunities for others. And so we're looking for more offensive production from our midfielders and our other attackers. And we can do that. We'll find a way to win. But Katie is such a star and really fun to watch.
You got 20 goals. She has 8 of them. She has an assist. But what I think is interesting, Shelly, is how many of your players just have a single assist. A couple of girls have 2, but you really have spread the assists around. And I'd love for you to take us through that part of the game, because I think so often in soccer, the assist can be overlooked.
Oh, for sure. I mean, without that, you don't create goals. And it's nice to recognize the other players on the field, because the ball is never going to get to Katie or someone else if you don't have the passing, the proper delivery by the rest of your team. And they've done that from all over the field. Our backs have gotten involved in the attack. They've even been close to scoring. Our center backs have been scoring. It is a well-rounded attack that way. The end of the day, your forwards are probably going to be the ones finishing, but the setup is definitely crucial, as you know, as a soccer fan, Jay.
Yeah. Well, and I've often said I kind of sometimes wish soccer did what hockey did, Coach, and had the second assist.
They do that sometimes.
Yeah,
they do.
But because then how many, I was like, man, how many would Messi have if he had the second assist, or somebody like that? And Mackenzie Johnson is scoring a lot for you too, and assisting as well. I mean, Katie gets the bulk of the attention perhaps, but you've got another bona fide scorer up front like that.
Oh yeah, and Mackenzie's a freshman. She's been, put in early and has come up big in some games with some big goals. She's a finisher, and she's just getting better. We have Kylie Sino has come back from injury and starting to play more, and she assisted on the winning goal the other day. It's been nice to see other players get involved, but it's nice to have someone else to be able to put the ball in the back of the net. And we have other players that are more than capable, and they've been close. So they're saving it up, hopefully, for tomorrow and the end of the season here.
And I do ask you a serious question, because again, at the top, I mentioned that you historically at least really do rely on your defense, and you've had some great goalkeepers and some great defenders, and the statistics speak for themselves. But when you have 2 scorers like this, how much does it alter Shelly Smith's general way of wanting to coach, and how can you maybe lend the things a little bit more forward when you've got that kind of ability up front?
Well, I think the misconception is that we are a defensive-minded team and defensive shape, and it's always been very organized defensively. We commit to that side, but we have always been a good attacking team. Otherwise, we wouldn't win games. And so we don't change much. We're just giving our forwards their opportunities to score goals and create more on the scoring end than our opponent. So our defense starts with our forwards, honestly, and then it goes forward. And we are able to stretch out a team a bit more with someone like Katie Shea, with her pace. So we can get behind even more than we maybe have been in the past, and that's something that changes a little bit. So our build-up may end up looking a little more direct at times. But if a team's going to press us and try to get us out of trying to play out, we play where they're going to give us space, and that's where Katie has been great to expose teams.
So don't let me confuse people and think that Shelly parks the bus, as they say.
Well, Sometimes I think.
Well, sometimes you might have to, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it happens. But
well, everybody has to do it. I did appreciate. I'll get you out of here on this. I did appreciate you texting me the other day as my favorite team, Arsenal, beat Tony Annan's favorite team, and he's even more connected because he's from Newcastle. And I joke, so you can tell Coach Annan what I told you. Is like I wish I felt bad for him. But I did not. But I could use your help right now. Arsenal is currently in a Champions League match in London. It's 1-0 Arsenal, but they've missed some wide open chances.
I don't even know that. I'm just looking forward to my Red Sox winning again.
Yeah, the Sox. Yeah, to go win in the Bronx again. That would be something. I was gonna tell you that too. I know you're excited about that. Well, listen. Best of luck tomorrow night. Kickoff is at 7 tomorrow night. Is that right?
Yes.
7 o'clock at the Graveyard, where Carolina is already amongst the nation's leaders in attendance, as they always are. Good luck. Top 10 matchup against Arkansas in SEC play. And I know we'll holler at you again soon. Appreciate you as always.
Awesome.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
You bet.
Yep.
That's Shelly Smith, Gamecocks, Arkansas tomorrow. All right. I'll sweat out the final few minutes of this match, and then Terry can hit me with some J or nay.
Oh, we got some J or nay, man.
All right, good. I hope J or nay will Arsenal win. J. Yeah. All right, we're back. All right, welcome back in. Final few minutes of our second hour. Thanks again to Shelley Smith for joining us. Jay or Nay coming up in just a second. Top of the hour headlines.
Oh, we got music.
Yeah?
We got a lot of music. Go to the hotkeys, Jalen.
Cleveland has beaten...
You talk. I'm going to show Jalen the hotkeys.
Cleveland has beaten Detroit. 6-1 was the final. They got a big home run late to ice it. So that one is done. And again, today we have a start bench drop for you for the Sept Heisman. I didn't come up with that, but it's a fun topic. But Ahmad Hardy, Missouri running back. Fernando Mendoza, Indiana quarterback. Dante Moore, Oregon quarterback. Ahmad Hardy so far this season, 730 yards on 103 carries, averaging 7.1 per, 9 touchdowns.
Is that good?
It is good.
Yeah, 500 some yards after contact or whatever it is, it's vile.
Dante Moore, 1,210 yards, 100 completions on 134 attempts. Fernando Mendoza is 89 of 122 for 1,208. I don't know how to do quarterback rating, but...
you can't add that up on your fingers?
Well, I just don't... again, and some quarterback ratings are different than others. Like, I don't know.
I can tell you, no one... It's like Goodwill Hunting. It's like the math problem, bro.
I don't know how that goes.
Nobody knows how that goes.
So,
nobody.
Anyway.
But he's got a good quarterback rating, whatever it means.
Yeah. So those are the guys. And again, I didn't put John Mateer. If you want to say John Mateer, then go ahead and start John Mateer. I'm perfectly fine with that. But otherwise, these are your choices. Ahmad Hardy, Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore.
You know where you're going?
For the Sept Heisman, I do know where I'm going. Yes, I will tell you next hour. But I do know my starter. And my starter and my bench. My drop is not all that difficult, despite the numbers. And I just gave you everybody's numbers. But my starter and my bench are like my bench guys coming off the bench real quick.
I'm having a little trouble with this one. This one's good.
Yeah.
I like this one.
All right, Jay or Nay time.
Hit that music there, Jalen.
Y'all want to see me dance? No, I'm not going to do it. This is good, man. All right.
All right, bud. Here we go. Lane Kiffin.
This is dating game, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
How good is that?
Just making sure. All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I tell you, you ever get bored. Brian Billick was on the dating game. You ever get bored? Go to YouTube.
Steve Martin was too, right?
Yeah. All right. Lane Kiffin, the head coach at Ole Miss, says dynasties are over because of the size of the SEC and also with 9 league games. Jay or Nay, are dynasties over in the SEC, Jay Phillips?
Wow. I'm going to say nay. I know where he's going. You're going to have to show me Georgia start going like 7-5 a lot for me to say dynasties are over. Now, I mean, like what Saban did? That's probably.
But that's generational,
but I think
right? Historic.
I think that has a lot more to do with the man that was doing it rather than the school, because the school's always been good at it. But I don't know. Again, if Georgia had a bad year last year and won the SEC, then.
Remember, that was a down year, right?
Give me a bad year.
That's a down year.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
But I know where Lane's going.
Yeah, I mean, the Bama thing, you can't compare things to what Saban did, because that's historic, right?
Yeah. I mean, even Bobby Bowden should have won a national title every year in the 90s.
that team was so stacked.
But they only won 2.
What were they, top 5? How many straight years?
Like
10
12.
straight years or 12? Yeah, it was crazy. All right, Jay or Nay? The Cleveland Browns are benching Joe Flacco, and they're starting Dillon Gabriel. Yeah. Jay or Nay on the starting of Dillon Gabriel?
Well, you can't start. Shadour's not ready. And by the way, Shadour kind of proved today, or I guess yesterday, that he's not ready by being incredibly childish in the locker room with the interview thing. That's childish.
Can I be honest with you? That was going to be on a J or Nay. We'll keep going with it now.
That's not leadership.
Can I tell you something? I need a grown man.
Yeah, you're being a child.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah. So I mean, again, you can't lead. You can't lead that way. No. And Shadour, Bud, you'll be good one day, but you ain't there yet.
No, to be good, you got to get out of your own way.
Yeah, he's not there yet. But that was childish.
All right.
So
Jay, so you're Jay?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Jay.
All right. Jay or nay, the Ravens should not play Joe Flacco this Sunday against the Texans and let him rest his hamstring because the Texans suck.
You mean Lamar Jackson?
Who'd I say?
You said Joe Flacco.
Oh, my God. Or start Joe Flacco.
Oh, they used to start
He used
Joe
to be a
Flacco.
Raven.
Yeah.
All right, Lamar Jackson.
You don't start Lamar this week against Houston's not good this year. I'd like to believe in most cases Baltimore could still win. The difference is they do not have, even when I say like for like, certainly not a direct replacement, but you don't even have the same kind of quarterback.
No, Cooper Rush is the opposite of Joe Flacco.
And that's kind of on John Harbaugh and the staff to not go get him somebody.
Yeah.
But, just hey, Derek, you're going to have to carry the ball about 40 times, bro. But you should be able to beat Houston regardless. But then you see what Lamar has next week.
Last one, Jay or nay. Buster Posey, the head of the San Francisco Giants, said the team will not go after ex-manager Bruce Bochy despite the fact he won 3 World Series.
Well, maybe Bruce said, I don't want your job, Buster. I'm going to go retire and take all my money and go buy a boat.
Getting old, and I got a lot of money. I got 4 rings. Kick sand.
Headlines coming up.
All right, we got a few accidents to get to. A couple in Richland, Fairfield Road at I-20, also Gardner's Ferry Road near Atlas Road. In Columbia, Harbison Boulevard at Bauer Parkway, I-20 westbound in Columbia at Broad River Road. That will be exit 65. In Lexington, South Lake Drive at Highway 602 Platte Springs Road. West Columbia, Woodbury Road at US 1 Augusta Road. And also in Columbia, I-26 eastbound at Lake Murray Boulevard. That is exit 102. We will jump back in. 5 o'clock news sponsored by Integrated Media here on the Postgame Show. Terry Ford, Jay Phillips, Jalen Tart.
It is 5 o'clock news time on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. It's also the final hour of the Postgame Show. Along with Terry Ford, I'm Jay Phillips. Jalen Tart's at Master Control this afternoon. We start with the big news out of Atlanta. Confirmed this morning that Brian Snitker will not return to manage the Atlanta Braves in 2026. Brian will turn 70 next month, and the Braves announced that he will move into an advisory role and also will be inducted into the Braves Hall of Fame at some point next year. According to the Associated Press, the decision was described as a celebration by Terry McGuirk and Alex Anthopoulos in terms of announcing this move. Not that they're celebrating the departure of the manager. Brian Snitker, very emotional over in Atlanta, as was Alex Anthopoulos. Snit said, quote, "I said I'm going to need a little time after that last out to decide what I'm going to do. After I got home and decompressed a little bit, I did decide that this was the best move." Brian Snitker has been with the Atlanta Braves organization for 49 years as a minor league player, then a minor league coach, instructor, and manager, and obviously major league coach and manager. And once again, I'll say, just if you didn't know this is me kind of editorializing, it was Hank Aaron who came to Brian Snitker as a guy in his early 20s and said, look, you're not gonna make it as a player, but we love what you are in terms of being around people, and we want you to stay as an instructor and as a coach. And it's worked out quite well. 811 wins as the Braves manager, 6 division championships, a wild card berth as well last season, and, of course, winning the 2021 World Series in 6 games over Houston. He said, honestly, I never thought I'd manage one day in the major leagues, much less 10 years, and I never thought I'd hoist a trophy. Ozzie Albies, Spencer Strider, Joe Jimenez, Ronaldo Lopez, Austin Riley, Michael Harris, Drake Baldwin were among the players who were surrounding Brian Snitker today as well.
See, that always tells you something.
Yeah.
When you ever see the players, the pressers like that, because they don't have to be there, by the way. It's,
yeah. A lot of them probably already gone.
And they didn't have, so that tells you kind of the bond, to a point we were talking about earlier about Snit and the players.
Yeah.
That's the bond he developed with the crew.
Snit is the 3rd winningest manager in Braves franchise history, not just Atlanta history, but Braves franchise history, going back to both Boston and Milwaukee. His 811 wins are behind, obviously, the great Bobby Cox with 2,149 and Frank Seeley, who had 1,004. So the end of an era. Now, very early, and Buster Olney puts out, and I guess Jeff Passan as well, that the 4 top candidates for now, and I think this is more speculative than it is informative, if that's the right way to put it, Terry, are Mark DeRosa, the former Brave, and managed the United States at the last World Baseball Classic, and very well thought of. Played for the Braves for, I don't know, 98 to 04 here, it says here. Okay, there you go. Skip Schumacher is currently working with the Rangers. He was the manager of the year with the Marlins back in 2023. He does not have, by the way, direct ties to the Atlanta Braves, which I do think matters. David Ross managed the Cubs for 4 seasons, played for the Braves for 4 seasons. And Walt Weiss, who has been with the Braves since 2016, and he played for the Braves for 3 seasons back in the late 90s and went to a World Series with Atlanta. So, Walt is 61. I think D. Ross and DeRosa are in their late 40s.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
And I think Schumacher is as well.
Yeah, Schumacher might be a little bit younger, but not much.
Yeah, not much.
The DeRosa thing, look, I love Mark DeRosa on TV on MLB Network. I enjoy the show that those guys do in the morning. But just for me, and look, I need a guy that's managed something besides the U.S. team.
Yeah.
I need a guy that's at least or been on a coaching staff or has done something where he understands the day-to-day grind from the coaching and managing side, not from the player side. Nothing against DeRosa. He could be a fabulous manager. I could be totally wrong. I don't know. Who knows? But if I'm sitting in the if I'm Alex, I really want a guy that's got a little bit more skins in the game at this point than DeRosa. That's just me. Look, I've said this to you. I don't know who can be a good or bad manager. So much is about fit in baseball. You might not fit in a certain place, but you fit fine in another place because every team needs a different type of fit for their manager. But the Braves are ready to win a championship if they're healthy, dude.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that what happened this past year. Atlanta's got the pieces to contend. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want to hand that off to a guy who has never really done it.
That's fair.
That's just me.
If I could pick one, and I can't.
All right, you're the GM.
Yeah. I like Walt, but I would pick D. Ross.
I don't think that's a bad choice.
I would, and it's not about Walt. I would pick David Ross, and maybe I don't mean to be ageist here. Walt's only 61,
Mm-hmm.
like he's old. I mean, Snit was that, he was younger than that, and I think Bobby was 137 when he finally retired. So who cares, right?
136, get it right.
That's right. But no, in all seriousness, D. Ross is like 47, 48 years old, and maybe could be your guy for a while because of that. Walt could do it for another 10 years. What I would like to see is I'd like to see them, again, in my perfect world, I hire David Ross. I give Walt a nice raise to hang around.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly keep Rick Kranitz, who I think is doing a fine job as pitching coach.
Rick Kranitz has been a good pitching coach for a long time.
I'd like to see the Braves. They did not have the right moves with the hitting coach, so you might want to go find somebody else to go do that. And again, if he wants to do it, I am bringing Ron Washington back onto the staff in whatever role Ron wants. If Ron wants to be third base coach again, you got it. If he wants to just be a bench coach, you got it. If he wants to just be, clubhouse presence and advisor, you got it. But that's. But I would find a way to bring Wash back around these guys every day. And I'd keep Walt as my right hand because I think you could still benefit from that. And if they want to move Walt up, I get it.
Right.
And I don't think he's a bad choice. There's something about, and I'm not really sure what it is, Terry. I can't necessarily put my finger on it. But there's just something I think about David Ross being good in Chicago, not great, but having that fire and being what the Braves might want.
Oh, I know why you want Ross. Give me a sec. He was on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
That totally changed you today when I brought that up.
I had no idea.
I didn't either. I got the Wikipedia. Remember, you and I were on the phone. I'm like, Jay, guess what?
I got to tell you.
David Ross on Dance with the Stars. Look, if they hired Ross.
The other night, by the way, as a quick aside, so we have a family group text, and obviously I have 4 daughters. And all of a sudden, there's something coming up about Robert Irvin, the chef, right? There's Robert Irvine.
Irvine, right.
And I'm like, what the hell is this? and then, so I was like, what are y'all doing? And they're like, Daddy's on Dancing with the Stars. I'm like, oh, God.
I know. I'm like, I don't watch that show. I saw the previews of who's going to be on it, though, because they were running those, during a game. And, Corey Feldman popped up. I'm like, oh, my God, Corey Feldman's on this thing?
Feldman.
I know. I went, wow.
When's the last time you saw Stand By Me?
I know. So, anyway, that is funny. I forgot someone else is on that too. I think it's an athlete. I was just like, oh my God, really? The funny thing is when what was it? Oh God, from ESPN, Mike was on there. Help me.
Mike Greenberg?
Yeah, Greenberg was dancing that 1 year.
All right.
That was painful. That made me feel like I could go, and I have zero rhythm. But going back to the point, if they hired Ross, I'd go, it makes sense. I would probably move up Weiss because I think that look, managing the Rockies, who can judge anything from the Rockies?
I don't think you can.
And I think Weiss and Ross both. Look, Ross was in a better spot because that Cub team was coming off of championships, but the front office. Oh, it's almost look. I love Theo Epstein too, and look, he broke 2 curses. I'd hire Theo Epstein in a heartbeat.
Absolutely, yeah.
But felt like Theo went, okay, my job here is done, and they really didn't, because they had such a nice core, but they really didn't start adding pieces they needed to after they won. And I thought Ross was kind of like the guy that wasn't really ready for that yet, but they loved him because he was there and everything. But I think he learned a lot in 3 years. I think he would be a good choice. So if you put Ross instead of Weiss, I wouldn't go, what the hell are you doing? But I like Weiss because of the continuity.
I agree. I don't disagree, and that's why I say I'd like to. Again, in my perfect world, I hire Ross as the manager, but I'm keeping Weiss because of that. But I wouldn't want Walt to feel like he got passed over, which I think you probably would believe you had.
You would
in
feel
some
that
degree.
way, right?
Yeah.
You want to keep. I tell you, we both agree. Try to get Ron Washington back.
But you got to get. I think
try
you
to
can get Wash back.
And I think both of those guys would be obviously very open to bringing back Washington.
And again, I keep Rick Kranitz, who's done.
Oh yeah, I mean, as a pitching coach, sure.
Rick's done a very good.
I mean, bullpens are flaky. I wouldn't go, well, that bullpen stunk. Get a new pitching coach.
Yeah.
No, that's. If you look at the variations and variables of bullpens from year to year.
Right.
It's sometimes it's just wild and wacky.
Meanwhile, Major League Baseball playoffs are underway. Yesterday, of course, Tigers beat the Guardians. Today, Cleveland evened it up. Cubs beat the Padres 3-1. Sox last night in a good ball game.
That was fun.
Beat New York 3-1 in the Bronx, and the Dodgers doubled up the Reds 10-5. All of those teams playing again tonight. Right now, Padres lead Chicago at Wrigley 3-0, bottom 6. Sox and Yankees will again have a first pitch of 6 o'clock at Yankee Stadium, and Reds and Dodgers go at it again tonight at 9 Eastern time. And once again, Cleveland has won to even that series.
2 low-scored, 1-run games, man.
Yeah. So
those 2.
All right, there you go. A couple other quick things for you. College football will be heading across the pond again. This time, instead of Dublin, it'll be Wembley. The Big 12 will have Arizona State and Kansas in the first ever Union Jack Classic at Wembley. It'll be September 19th. Good for college football, but, I mean, Arizona State and Kansas,
babe.
You know what I mean?
I know.
And I guess it's because they can. I don't know whose home game that would have been.
Think of the lineage and history of greatness of those 2 programs, decade upon decade upon decade.
Don't you try if you're one of these conferences and you want to do this? Like for instance, this the one last year, not last month, but last year. Was that Florida State? When was it, right? And then the year before that, they had like Navy and Notre Dame.
I mean, look, that's where you go.
Like Notre Dame,
Navy, Florida State.
But even Florida State, Georgia Tech, I'm like.
At least Florida State has some type of something from the past. But yeah, I'm going for think of already. If you're going to do this, let's play marketing guys real quick. You and I gotta get a hairpiece. So. If you are going to try to push the needle with an event across the pond, are you picking Kansas and Arizona State?
No.
I mean, Notre Dame is a perfect example of it.
Yeah,
you find iconic college brands, and you take them across the pond.
I mean, I don't even know. Let me. And this is a little far fetched, but hear my point out at least. Like Illinois, Southern Cal. Like if that's Illinois' home game. Like I'm buying out if I'm the Big Ten and this group that's doing this, I'm buying out your home game.
Yeah.
I'm giving you a big wad of cash for it, and I'm sending you across the pond with your fans. But then I've got Southern Cal in a game. Or something like that.
Yeah, you've got to have something that makes these people go, "Oh, I've heard of that."
But
or,
I know,
hey, that sounds interesting.
But a Penn State, a Georgia, an Ohio State, they're not giving up a home game.
No,
so you've got to find a way to get them. If it's a
they got to be
game,
the roadie for somebody, right?
But then against whom?
We got to buy that
and
other
then that team
crew
has,
out.
Yeah,
and that's what you got to do. You've got to have one brand. In this thing, and no offense to Kansas, no offense to Arizona State.
No.
You guys ain't it.
No. But it's going to happen. And real quick, New Orleans has been announced as the 27 season, 28 officially championship game site. So the Superdome, January 24th, 2028, we'll have the college football playoff title.
Cool.
So New Orleans got one. All right, there you go. That's our integrated
cool place
media
to hang out.
Headlines of the day. We'll jump back into some Gamecock football analytics for you. Will Helms with some interesting takes on just what Lenora Sellers has been up to. You're listening to the Postgame Show. Time for our Gamecock Notebook here on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay Phillips, Terry Ford, Jalen Tart at Master Control. Give full props to our buddy Will Helms, who is doing a fantastic job with his analytics at Gamecock Central. And again, I've got to start getting Will back on the show. We had him a few times back in the day, and then he had another job for a bit, and now he's doing this again, which is good. So again, I'm giving him full credit, but this is some really good stuff. And we'll mostly focus on Lenora Sellers. He's got some good things about, well, I say good things in the sense of just what is and is not happening with the Carolina run game. But I want to start with what he says about Lenora Sellers. In 37 attempts beyond 10 yards, Sellers has completed 67.6% of his passes, 629 yards, 25.2 per attempt. So when he's going beyond 10, he is actually averaging 25.2 per attempt.
Jay, he's been phenomenal.
7 touchdowns. He's thrown for a first down on better than 62% of his attempts beyond 10 yards. And his adjusted completion percentage on those throws is 73%. His 138.4 passer rating, Will tells us, on balls 20-plus yards down the field is third in the Power Four. He says he's fourth in average depth of target on deep balls. So he says he's not throwing it right at 20, but he's launching it down the field, and it is working.
Yeah.
He also does Lenora Sellers, leads the country in completion percentage and yards per attempt on intermediate throws between 10 and 20 air yards, and has completed 14 straight passes at that distance going back to the end of the
77.3%. I got it right here on Pro Football Focus. 77.3% between 10 and 19 yards. Jay, these numbers are unbelievable over 10 yards. And here's the other thing real quick. It's not like he only does it every now and then. 25, 35. 42% of his throws are over 10 yards. So he's not dinking and dunking and occasionally throwing it. So 42% of the throws are over 10 yards.
It's been fun to watch. And, again, if you can start to put all of this together, then it gets to be a really, I think, a more difficult offense to defend if South Carolina could just get any real semblance of a run game.
If he continues to be aggressive like he was Saturday against Kentucky, like in the run game himself on the scrambles, because he's averaging like 8.5, 9 yards on scrambles. If he gets more aggressive and starts to use his legs, sort of like he did at the end of last year, to go with how well he's throwing the ball,
right,
that really takes the offense up another notch.
Staying with Sellers, but going to the run game, Will Helms says that getting Lenora slightly more involved in the called run game has helped Carolina. Lenoris is averaging 2.5 yards before contact per called run and a 63% success rate. He says if they could get 2 to 3 more called runs from Sellers in zone read or with other concepts, and he says power and sweep concepts, that could definitely help the running game out. And he also makes the point, too, of when Carolina, they're running the ball, as you might imagine, it makes sense, Terry. I think you and I talked about this the other day. When they've got 3 wide receivers on the field or more, then they're also able to run more, because at that point you're spreading the defense out.
Exactly.
Again, Carolina has basically just been dared to run in front of a loaded box. And I don't really care what level it is. Certainly when things are rather equal, then you're just not going to be successful in that
especially
scenario.
When your offensive line's not getting any push.
Yeah, and he mentions that again, that's been one of it. But he makes a point to say it's not all about the offensive line. Certainly they've got to be better. And really Carolina's pass protection is significantly better.
Yeah, that hasn't been a huge problem this year, to be quite honest. It's been the run game where the blocking has had issues. And then, there's a thing, too, where you're – and Ryan Brewer said this, to be fair. Brewer said as a running back, it's human nature. You get the ball, you're almost ducking.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now, I told you this today, South Carolina, last 16 teams in the SEC still?
That's correct.
South Carolina is averaging 0.68 yards before contact. That's less than a yard. If you get the ball as a running back,
it's two,
you're going 2 less than a yard,
it's 2
bro.
Feet. Think about it.
You're getting, yes, and you're now getting contact.
2 feet, y'all. Think about it for just think about really large men. 2 feet.
And out of 16 teams, guess who has a worse number than South Carolina?
I wouldn't imagine anybody does right now.
Nobody.
Yeah, not right now.
Nobody else is under a yard.
Right.
So, and like Ryan said, it's human nature. Yeah, you can go on film and go to running back. Why'd you miss that read? Why'd you miss that hole? Because, bro, let me tell you why.
Right.
I get the ball, and like you said, within 2 feet, I've got hands upon me that aren't, on our team. So, yeah, people say, well, the running backs have to break tackles, and I agree with that. I get it. They have to do this and that and do their part. I understand that. But when you're basically running for your life from the minute you get the ball, you might not be able to do some things vision and instinct-wise that you would do if you had a little bit of space to maneuver, right? South Carolina's run grade in Pro Football Focus, run blocking grade is among the 10 or 12 worst in the country.
Yeah. And again, you when you see that and again, next week will be the midway point of the season, what you'd like to think is that, okay, let's just get into the middle of the pack.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that actually is a massive improvement. One other thing, because it's not all when it comes to Lenoris, but I think this goes. I was kind of, I don't say I was glad to see this, but I think this better illustrated what I was trying to say the other day about Lenoris when I said that Lenoris is making some bad plays for good reasons. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to read this from Will because it better illustrates it from his point of view and what he's saying. He says, Lenoris invites a lot of pressure. That's not necessarily a bad thing. He's a high average depth of target passer who prefers to hang in and deliver under pressure rather than run a bunch of quick hitters. And that was a point you just made, Terry. He's been charged with primary responsibility for 6 of the 14 sacks that South Carolina has allowed this season. And he bears partial responsibility for 21% of allowed pressures. That's 4th in the SEC, with Taylon Green and Bo Prabula currently higher. And both of those guys also like to run the ball. Mm-hmm. So that's not necessarily a knock, but I think that's one of the points that we made. You admire Lenoris wanting to make that play for one primary reason, because he can make the play.
He's a playmaker, yes.
And that's what he does.
Right.
And he knows he can do it. But sometimes when you're holding the ball too long, it's not going to happen, because you're going to have really quick dudes at this level that are going to finally come get you.
And to your point, either you're going to get rid of the ball and live for the other play, or get out of there and try to make something happen with your legs, whether it's go run or get yourself out of there to where you can make a throw down the field if you're behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Staying in that pocket and trying to make that throw and wait, like you said, and I think you described it perfect. It's a bad play. I don't want to make a good play.
Yeah.
But at some point, you've got to understand, you got to make that decision quick.
But it's still a bad play.
Yeah, it's still a bad play, and you got to move. Like some of these sacks for minus 13 yards, you can't have. You can't have that.
Like you get what you get it. And here's one final thought on it too, just to illustrate this. And again, credit to Will Helms for doing what he's doing. Sellers has the highest average time with the ball of any SEC quarterback, 3.29 seconds per play. The 3rd highest time to release at 2.79, 6th highest time to sack at 3.79, and 5th highest time on scrambles at 5.37. He holds the ball longer than 2.5 seconds 70% of the time, 69.6, the highest in the conference. But, Terry, and here's Will's point, he has a 124 passer rating on those throws, so it works. That's what we're saying. Most of the time, he's making a big play. And again, on those long passes, he's averaging 25 yards per attempt.
He's been phenomenal.
So he's killing it. But one of those might get you.
And part of this, too, is at times you're holding the ball for guys to get open, or you're holding the ball maybe because maybe the process is slow in your mind to read or whatever. But, yeah, and that's the crux of it, right? You can't say don't do it, because sometimes he does it, and guess what happens? Big plays happen.
Better than 70% of the time.
Think about that for a minute.
It works. That's our Gamecock Notebook. Good stuff, Will Helms, Gamecock Central. Y'all check out his work and all the other things going on over at Central. Drive Around the SEC is next.
All right, Men's Clinic of South Carolina. We talk about this all the time because guys just don't want to go get help. We're like that. We're stubborn. We think, we'll be all right tomorrow. I'll just take an ibuprofen. I'll be fine. But no, sometimes you have issues that need more than ibuprofen. And it might just be you have a low testosterone issue that's holding you back, whether it's you don't feel the same at the gym, you're not recovering from working out, you don't have any drive in life, no matter what room or what part of your life. You can't remember things like you used to. You're not sleeping as well as you. It just might be low T. 803-875-MENS. Make the call, set the appointment, go in. It's confidential. It's free. Tell them your story. If they do think it's low T, they will then do lab work. If it comes back low testosterone, they'll put you on a plan specifically designed for you to get you to back being you again. Make that call. Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Might just be low T. Feel better. Checking the traffic, we still have a few accidents, a couple in Richland that they are working on. Fairfield Road near I-20, Garner's Ferry Road near Atlas Road. In Columbia, Harbison Boulevard at Bauer Parkway. Also, they have cleared the accident, I-26 eastbound at Lake Murray Boulevard, exit 102. West Columbia, Woodbury Road at US 1 Augusta Road. In Lexington, South Lake Drive at Highway 602, that's Platte Springs Road. And back in Columbia, I-20 westbound at Broad River Road, exit 65. We'll come back here, get a drive around the SEC, and don't forget Carolina calls tomorrow night at 7 right here on the game in Columbia and our affiliate in Myrtle Beach. Postgame show with Jay and Jalen and Terry coming up on the game.
$25 minutes in front of 6 o'clock on this Wednesday. Welcome back in. Jay and Terry with you. Time for our drive around the SEC. We'll start with Brian Kelly, who, after the loss to Ole Miss, basically just blamed his whole team. Maybe he should, but,
but
usually you hear coaches
start with yourself.
Yeah, you hear coaches say like, "We got to coach better and do," but our players got to play better. I mean, the dude took no responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like a sore loser.
A little bit, man. I'm not a fan. Anyway,
I'm not either.
Garrett Nussmeier not having a great year, and today, or at least this week, and I guess there was a little bit more. This is from Sports Illustrated. Health rumors about Nussmeier. Make sure I get the author correct here. Who wrote this story? Dan Lyons of Sports Illustrated wrote this. Health rumors about Nussmeier have swarmed since the preseason, he writes, when Kelly shut down rumors that his quarterback had a serious knee injury by sharing that he had a mild case of patellar tendonitis. Now, in a similar moment on Wednesday, Kelly dismissed new murmurs that his quarterback requires surgery on an undisclosed injury. He said today, that's just misinformation. Those are not based on any facts. They're quite silly, actually. People want to know, but this is misinformation, end quote. He did admit that Nussmeier is dealing with some type of abdominal strain in addition to the patellar tendonitis. He called it a torso injury. And said that Nussmeier may have been dealing with it since the Florida game. And he said, early on he had an ab strain, not a core injury, and it's been slow to heal. But as I mentioned, he's on the backside of that, and he's getting rest this week. He will be the Garrett Nussmeier that he needs to be as we get into the very difficult part of our schedule. They are off like the Gamecocks are this weekend, and obviously they host Carolina next week.
That offense is scuffled, man. I mean, they got 4 new offensive linemen. They can't run the ball to save their life. Nussmeier hasn't been the thrower he was last year. He struggled throwing it down the field, struggled against pressure. It's just not working on offense. So the thought is, Jay, then is he not healthy? And then, of course, Dr. Brian Kelly shot that down after an examination. Look, all I know is something's wrong. And the sad part is for LSU, you know what they finally got this year?
A defense.
That's the thing that gets me. I mean, if you could have taken this defense and put it with Jaden Daniels a couple years ago,
they don't lose a game.
They would have been almost been like Burrow's LSU, right?
They don't lose.
I mean, and so that's the thing about Kelly to me. Look, he's a really good head coach. No one's saying he's not. But I always look at how do you handle the bumpy times? And he always comes off as a whiner, a bully, kind of a jerk. And I'm just like, dude, why? Why? What's that road for? What is the? I just don't.
He doesn't seem to want to take public responsibility. And I think he's going to tell us,
because it can't be him because he's Brian Kelly.
Well, and he'll say, look, I've got coordinators that are making a combined $4 million, so it's it's them, and I've got all these players, and it's them. Look, as we say, so we can't, you and I can't sit here and have it both ways either, where we say, you know what coaches can't do? They can't go play.
They can't.
They can't. But just the way he comes across is what rubs people the wrong way.
And that's the thing. It's always like this to me. Look, you could be the greatest coach in the world, and you're putting all the chess pieces together, and you're right, the players can't play. But at the end of the day, when you're in charge and you're the leader, guess who takes responsibility?
Yeah.
What's the old saying?
It's your program.
Pass along credit when others do well under your watch, and you take blame when it doesn't go well. That's what leaders do. And Kelly, is he that guy, this guy, ready? How much does he ever say, my fault, my bad, I was wrong,
I don't hear
I'm sorry? I mean, again, we ever get any of that?
No, I don't.
He must be a delight to hang out with. Wow,
but
what a guy!
I think that he's. Look, the thing for Nussmeier, if these things really are just these are little nagging things, if you got 2 or 3 of them, then I'm putting him in like that Michael Jackson chamber. What do you call those things?
Cryogenic chamber?
Yeah, whatever that thing is.
Hyperbaric chamber.
Hyperbaric chamber. Put him in there for. We'll get you some online classes.
Yeah, we'll let you out game day, man.
And then you stay in there for about a week.
I just want to add too. If he can survive the Carolina game, they have to go against Vanderbilt on the road, at home against A&M, and on the road against Alabama.
That's a tough stretch. That's a tough stretch, especially you've lost already. So now you lost a mulligan in Oxford, right? You don't have many left. That's a pretty tough road, especially if you're off. Look, you can't. As we say this about South Carolina, you can't score 20 points consistently every Saturday and win in the SEC in 2025.
No.
You can't.
It's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
No.
So, again, when we flip it back to the good guys here in Columbia, going in and playing LSU, they've had a bye like you, but if that LSU offense plays the way it's been playing all year, if you, to what you say all the time, handle your business and take care of you, not to say you're going to win, but you're going to have a legitimate shot to be hanging with LSU in the fourth quarter.
I like Rouge. South Carolina's opportunity. Listen, as long as you're not turning the ball over 5 times like Florida did, but I keep coming back to it because I think it's relevant. Florida threw 5 interceptions in Baton Rouge at night. And LSU still only scored 20 points total. Not 20 points off the turnover, which really wouldn't be that great anyway.
Right, that's fine. You average 4 points a turnover.
But
right.
But that they only scored 20 points, that should give South Carolina a real level, a higher level of optimism if you can fix a few things, because LSU, and listen, I follow our buddy Matt Moscona, and trust me, over that way, like, we can't run the ball.
Right.
And I mean, South Carolina can't really run the ball either.
And by the way, you know who else at the bottom was South Carolina? LSU. You ready for this? They're averaging 1.63 yards before contact, which is 14th in the league, by the way. And South Carolina averages more yards after contact with their running game.
So if that's a wash, and you've got your guys in Thomas and Stewart doing what they're doing, in addition to that, once again, kind of figuring out that hockey line in the middle now, which I love for Carolina. You can affect Garrett. And you affected Nussmeier last year. Remember?
Yeah.
A couple of unfortunate hands to the face. If you just keep your hands on his chest, you win that football
I'll say
game.
this, too. Nussmeier so far this year has 3 interceptions and has made 6 turnover-worthy plays. So it's out there. You can make something happen in the turnover game as well with the way Nussmeier's playing.
He's I'm going to come up with a new word. He's affectable.
Oh, I like that.
You like
I don't
that?
know what the hell that meant. That sounded good, man.
So
I like that.
You can get him.
You have a new word.
Thanks.
And look, if number 16 plays the way he did against Kentucky, aggressive, just playing ball.
Yeah.
Just like we said, comfortable, playing ball and just doing his thing. You got a shot.
I think there is.
Death Valley. You got a shot.
I think there is. I don't know what that spread's going to be. I'm going to say that spread's around like 7.5.
I was thinking 8.5. I can see that.
Yeah.
And look, the only thing is LSU. Look, South Carolina was also in the preseason looked at as a team was going to sniff around the college football playoff, and they have 2 losses. LSU was looked at as a top 10 team, top 15 team. They have a loss. You got 2 teams who really can't afford to give up another mulligan in Death Valley, too.
Well,
so throw that in.
Certainly, and again, LSU and Carolina fans, don't take this the wrong way, but they're going to say, well, we can't lose to South Carolina at home.
Right.
Yeah. And South Carolina used to go, oh, yeah.
You can.
Watch this.
Watch this, dude.
So.
Absolutely.
But a lot of the players remember what happened last year.
Yeah.
So
Look, you had them on the ropes last year.
They did, man.
And here's the other part. Take away the officiating that we were yelling about. If your quarterback's healthy in the second half, none of that might not have mattered.
I think it's a different game, too. Yeah, so there you go. By the way, speaking of spreads, real quick on this, because we'll have more previewing of the weekend's games. State is going to A&M. A&M minus 14.5. A&M just beat Auburn 16-10, and State just pushed Tennessee to overtime. I'm not a gambler, but I might take those 14.5 points.
I think about that too.
Wonder where that one closes. That's the drive around the SEC, brought to you by Herndon Chevy. We'll give you our start bench drop and do a little Jay versus the internet on the other side. All right, welcome back. Final few minutes here on a Wednesday. Tomorrow, again, it's as these things work. Carolina, of course, isn't playing football this weekend, but tomorrow afternoon, Lamont Paris has a media availability. Our buddy David Cloninger will join us ahead of that, and I believe our own Elijah Campbell will be covering that. So we might try to check in with Elijah.
Sure, we got nothing to do.
See what happens. So we'll get into some of those things for you on tomorrow's program. But DC will also want to weigh in on the Braves. Speaking of weighing in, before we get a few other things done here, Rick wants to weigh in on a couple of things about Lenore's. Hey, Rick, good afternoon.
Hey, Rick, what's up?
Hey, guys. Good day today. Just was listening at some of the stats. Or what's that word they call it nowadays?
Analytics.
Analytics. There you go.
So, the analytics, you know, I'm old, but, you know, the analytics, do y'all know, and I immediately started looking at the analytics that y'all threw out. Do y'all know who Lenore's is right in line with in the professional level?
Who?
Y'all even thought about it?
Well, I want to. I mean, my head might go to Lamar first, but where are you taking us?
Oh no, it's not that. Drew Brees.
Oh.
Hmm.
In terms of the completion percentage. Okay. Okay. I got you now.
I think that Shula is making Lenore's more of a well-rounded quarterback. I know we want him to run lights out and just be what he was last year, especially that nobody will ever forget the 16 or 26-yard run against Clemson. But Shula, I believe, is making Lenore's, as far as analytics go, the pick when he comes out. And, you know, I'm not mad at the football team. I'm a baseball guy. Y'all know they better make some big-time improvements on that side of things. But I think it's a good thing. And as far as you and I, Jay,
yep.
I think it's going to come down to them Broncos and them Chargers, who you know I just adopted.
Right.
I believe it's going to come down to those two teams. People get film on Dart, and I'm not even mad that the Chargers lost to him, because that was a good
football game.
Great.
Yeah, that was a good football game. Got to get out of here, Rick. Good stuff, man. Appreciate you. Go. Hey, if Broncos to the Super Bowl,
yeah,
I'm here.
Look again. Got a lot of good pieces, dude. I don't think it's going to happen this year.
Well,
but
I said they were going 17-0 at the beginning of the season, but then.
Well, now you're 15-2.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah,
They ain't going a heater.
That's fine.
All right.
I even take 14-3.
I think they'll have a better record than the Chiefs.
Oh, I don't know, man. I think the Chiefs. I don't know.
We'll have a better record than the Chiefs.
When the Chiefs get completely healthy, let's see what they are.
All right, let's do our quick start bench drop here. I am starting, again, today, if you didn't hear it, Ahmad Hardy for Fernando Mendoza. That's the IU quarterback. And Dante Moore, Oregon quarterback. I am starting Ahmad Hardy, but barely.
I'm starting
for the
Hardy.
Sept Heisman. I am benching Dante Moore, and I am dropping Fernando Mendoza.
I'm with you all three. How boring are we? I think Hardy, look, nobody saw Missouri coming this year. And Hardy has been the engine of that whole thing, man. And Missouri, the way they run the ball, all that. I'm with you on Hardy. What Moore did in Happy Valley, a huge test for a young quarterback, and he outplayed Aller and, remember, hit the big play for the touchdown in overtime. I'm with you on Moore. And Mendoza, you and I agree on this. Look, he might be phenomenal for it's over, but he went to Iowa, the first true road test against a rugged defense.
Didn't look good.
And he scuffled. So I'm with you on all three.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
Let's do it. Hit the music. We got music.
Oh, good. I like music.
A little different today. Remember this? Remember this, Joe?
Yeah, you got me on this
What's
one.
my line, man?
Okay, what's my
All right, here we go. Jay versus the Internet.
I know the show, but I wouldn't know the music.
Major League Baseball tonight. Red Sox, Yankees, to see if they can bring it down just a little bit there. There you go, Joe. All right. Bello versus Rodon. Bello on the road, 3.06 ERA. Rodon, 2.98 at home.
Yankees are going to win tonight.
Yankees in game 2. Dodgers, they just scored again, by the way. Dodgers at home against the Reds.
Dodgers are going to win.
Dodgers? Okay, now 3. Shohei Ohtani last night hit 2 home runs.
Yeah, he did, man. And one of them was, I think, hasn't landed
No,
yet.
it did. No, by the way, they checked its passport.
My
All right, Ohtani, that was the first 2 home runs he hit off of Cincinnati all year.
Oh.
Ohtani over under, and he struggled against the Reds this year. Over under base hits for Ohtani tonight, 1.5.
Give me an over, man. He's feeling it. But that second home run,
that thing was a missile.
Seriously,
it was.
That was. He is. Oh, wow.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's insane.
Good stuff today. Thanks to Michael and to Coach Smith for joining us. For Jalen, for Terry, I'm Jay. We'll do it again tomorrow. See ya.